Kevin McCullough.
As we've mentioned, a lot of focus on women in the vote as we are coming down the last few stretches of the race here. I know it seemed like 4,298,817 days. It actually hasn't been. It's just been a little over 2 years, but it has felt that way. Mae Mailman is back with us. She is the director of the Independent Women's Law Center with the Independent Women's Forum, and she was just with us about a week ago to talk about some court cases that are coming before the Supreme Court this next go around. But Mae, one of the reasons that Independent Women's Forum exists, one of the reasons why I insist upon having you guys on my show every week, is because I feel like that the women's vote on Tuesday is going to be of keen importance. And I want to ask you, from the messaging that you've seen as a mom, as someone who works with independent women every day, how do you assess what the offers, the marketing that the Kamala Harris and Donald Trump teams are putting out there for the female vote, and how effective do you assess they are being at getting those points across? And is anyone being particularly successful in attracting them?
I think from the Kamala Harris side, we see abortion, right? Abortion, but also just identity. As a woman, I think Michelle, when she's yelling at the men, telling them to vote, she's saying, but do it for the women, that there's just something about being a woman that should align with voting Democrat. It's not policy-based. It is just vibes-based. Some amount of, support Kamala Harris because she's also a woman. So you've got abortion and vibes. And then on the Republican side, I think there's a huge security push, right? So you want safe communities. There's an affordability push. You want to be able to afford your groceries, afford your home. And then there's some things that don't work as well. I think when President Trump gets out there and says, I'm going to be your protector, I think what he means by that is I'm going to have good policies and I'm going to have safe communities. But what women want is to be listened to be understood. And I think that type of messaging really doesn't work. So, you've got pros and cons, I think, on each side.
Well, you saw Kamala Harris come out and basically accuse him of taking women's agency away from themselves. And I don't know, Mae, maybe it's just because I hang out with really smart women, my bride, people like you that have great intellect and kind of understand what the English language means. You don't have to talk about the significance of the passage of time. You just understand how to use a clock. And I think that sometimes the identity and the pandering that she has put into this is almost an insult to the women that are being asked to vote for. Is that an oversimplification?
So, yeah, it's been this way.
And
with
you
the
can
Democrats.
say so if it is. I'm not. There's no right or wrong answer.
For a long time, the problem though is there is something about women that enjoys community, right? That we are empathetic, and so while on one hand it is denying agency to say all women think like this or should be like this, on the other hand, women don't want to be seen as racist. They don't want to be seen as other, right? We want to be part of the crowd. And so there's something there. Underlying the bad messaging, there is something there. And I think that's the challenge for Republicans. It's not a Trump issue. Unmarried women especially have not been voting Republican for a very long time. There's an identity issue. There is women, especially young women, especially unmarried young women, don't identify as Democrats. And that is not to deny women agency. It is that there is safety in numbers. And that is why I think Independent Women's Forum is such, that we exist, is that you can see that there are other women who think like you, that talk like you, that live like you, that are Republicans. And we are happy, and we have really strong basis for how we think and why we think the way we do. So I think that there is something about just breaking the mold that's challenging for women, not in a deny agency way, but just in a reality way.
Yeah. Well, and my bride was with me when he made that comment, and she did not take the pledge for protection as anything other than what she would hope her husband would do if a burglar broke into our house. Like there is a desire for a safe existence to be offered. And you can't have safety when 13,000 convicted murderers are being let into the country without knowledge of who they are or where they are. You can't have safety in apartment complexes that are being taken over by Venezuelan gangs. I mean, I tend to think that women can walk and chew gum at the same time. I just sometimes wonder if the Democrats have that same respect for the people that they claim to be on the lookout for. Because when you talk about denying moms the safety of making sure that your daughters are going to a school where they're not going to be assaulted in the locker room because men are being allowed to be in there. I think there's context for that she ignores, and maybe he's clumsy in how he's putting it forward. But I think that women like to have guys looking out for them and being respectful and wanting to offer that. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me ask you about a couple of the things. The brand new poll out from Michigan that says that the economy, immigration, healthcare, abortion, and then U.S. policy in Gaza. Now, this is a Michigan-based poll, but economy, inflation, immigration, taxes, healthcare, and abortion in that order. Is that how you sense women will process their voting, the choice that they pull in the voting booth on Tuesday?
I mean, I hope so, because there is no choice. There is no, anything else if you don't have the resources to provide for yourself and your family. Economy, inflation should be number one. The question is voting a right brain activity? Is it emotional, or is it a left brain activity? Is it logical? And I think it's different for different people. And so you could say logically, these are my top issues. This is what I care about. And logically, President Trump aligns with that. And so then the question is, who's reaching the right brain? In case this is a right brain activity, who's reaching the emotion? And so I think that's a lot what the Democrats are going for, vibes, like I said.
Right.
And I think that Republicans do have that message. That's just what needs to break through.
What about the emotion of looking at a grocery bill that's $580 when it used to cost you $280?
And that's what I wish I would see.
Yeah.
Yeah, on TV is moms having to put food back on the shelf.
Stick around for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.